Welcome to Moments with Marianne. This is your host, Marianne Pestana. And we're here today with special guest, RJ Spina, who's here to share with us his new book, Supercharged Self-Healing, a revolutionary guide to access high-frequency states of consciousness that rejuvenate and repair. So are you looking to cultivate true healing? RJ Spina healed himself of permanent chest-down paralysis, severe chronic illness, and several life-threatening conditions through his own authentic transcendence. He has dedicated his life to the freeing and healing of humanity on all levels. RJ is the founder and president of the nonprofit Human Advancement Through Higher Consciousness. He counsels people worldwide, and his revolutionary self-healing practices and self-realization techniques have changed and saved the lives of many across the globe. So let's welcome to the show, RJ Spina.
Thanks for having me. It's my pleasure.
What an honor it is to have you here and to talk about this book. What inspired you to write this?
Well, it stemmed from my own personal journey and transformation from complete chest down, permanent paralysis, sepsis, diagnoses of type 1 diabetes, hypothyroidism, severe Hashimoto's autoimmune disease, pancreatitis, thyroiditis, as well as something called autonomic dysreflexia, which your autonomic system, which regulates pulse, breathing, body temperature, heart rate, that was going completely haywire. So all of those conditions, along with the permanent chest down paralysis, all of those diagnoses, the life-threatening conditions of these things. And what happened for me is that I had emergency surgery. I woke up, and I literally woke up. And I literally remembered how healing actually works. And I told the ICU nurse, I told the doctors, I told everybody that in 100 days, I'm going to walk unassisted and I'm going to have all of these health concerns resolved. And I even started explaining in detail the higher consciousness metaphysics of self-healing and how it actually works. And I knew I was going to walk again, but I also knew that no one would believe that I would be able to overcome all these things, let alone do it in exactly 100 days as I predicted. So I went ahead and filmed everything, recorded everything. It's all documented, surgeon's notes, MRIs, it's all video people can see right on my website. And the teachings and the understandings that came back to me like a muscle memory upon waking up from surgery became the Ascend the Frequencies healing technique, which is what now thousands of people all over the world have used to put themselves back together mentally, emotionally, physically, or all of the above. And the book is what captures the technique itself, my story, as well as success stories of clients that I have worked with that have been able to use these enlightened metaphysics to radically and completely transform their health from top to bottom.
Well, you definitely went through quite a lot. And it would be, I think most people look at this and think it's impossible to heal from all these things in the way that you have. Was that kind of the pushback you got from the doctors?
Oh, completely. Yeah, I was told that what I was attempting to do was impossible, that I shouldn't bother trying. And these are all highly educated, well-meaning people that actually really did want the best for me. But they're operating from a very old, limiting paradigm in terms of their understanding about energy and how health actually manifests itself, how it's our natural state. So I knew that I could do it, even though I was told, don't bother. One medical professional said that I'm probably delusional from the anesthesia and that it'll wear off soon. And, you can kind of settle in to being paralyzed and being sick when the anesthesia wears off, and this idea that you're going to put yourself back together. So yeah, all I ever heard from everyone, and I mean from everyone, from people that we would all call an authority in these arenas, I was told that it was impossible and don't bother trying.
I often hear about how the medical profession just isn't really equipped to handle people that do look at their healing as more of a spiritual practice or spiritual unfolding. What were some of the road bumps that you met along the way?
Well, I made it easy for myself in that one of the first things that I did is that I told, because I was in the hospital rehab from the initial stay to then the rehab facility for just under 3 months, about 10 weeks in total. So, but in the very beginning, I told family, friends, everyone, please don't text, call, email. I cannot waste my energy in explaining what is going on and talking about my diagnosis and rehashing what antibiotics I'm on. What is the prognosis for ever walking again? I knew that was never going to actually help me heal, that would actually just be depleting my energy. And I knew if I harnessed my energy properly and directed it towards self-healing, that I knew it was going to be an eventuality. So if we keep harnessing our energy in one direction, eventually that's where we wind up. It's like setting your car GPS to go to the store. Eventually you're going to get there. Turn left here, turn right here. If you just follow the course, you're going to get there. So I knew to do that. So I completely isolated myself in terms of that, not constantly reiterating what was going on, what it is that I'm doing, is it even possible, et cetera, et cetera. And I also set my own, I'll say I set up my hospital room. I made it conducive to healing. They had a whiteboard on there of previous patients that were in there, and then all the different medications they're on. They had my whiteboard up there, everything I was diagnosed with, all these different medications. So I had them cover that up. I wasn't interested in really seeing that. I knew it wasn't the medications that were going to do anything for me. And by the way, they suppress symptoms and push them deeper and deeper into the tissue, get worse later on. So if you actually have a sickness, if you take medications, you're going to have to heal from the sickness and the so-called medication eventually. So I knew things like this that doctors don't understand, nor do I think they're interested in understanding. So I knew this from the get-go. And I went about my healing by creating what I call a healing environment. So through all the meditation and intense practice that I was doing while I was there, it was palpable. The healing energy, the high frequency energy was actually palpable. And nurses would literally knock on my door, come in, and ask if they could sit silently in my room and eat their lunch because it feels so good to be in this room. So it's understandings like this and practices and protocols that are in this book and the course that I created from the book, that when we start to have a different understanding of how things are and we do different things, we get different results. And this is a completely different paradigm and a completely different enlightened perspective on how self-healing and self-actualization really works.
Where do you think people following this, or just people in general, kind of get hung up? Because we're so used to this paradigm where we take the medication, it treats a symptom, we still have a problem, and it seems to go on and on and on.
Well, there's a disempowerment going on because we are not giving ourselves permission to heal. So we're giving that responsibility to somebody else. We're disempowering ourselves and saying the doctor's going to do it, the chiropractor's going to do it, the Reiki healer is going to do it, or this or that, whatever it is, it doesn't matter, right? So the very nature of metaphysics is that we actually command and control our energy, right? It's a completely disempowered state to abdicate our responsibility from top to bottom for ourselves. And health is right at the top of that. So we don't give ourselves permission to heal. We're waiting for someone else or a tincture or a pill or a new study or whatever it is to give ourselves permission to heal. We really, Marianne, we really have to look at what I just said. And in fact, let's look at the placebo effect and what is really going on there. The placebo effect is scientific proof that we heal ourselves, right? There's sugar pills, right? There's nothing in there, right? There's no medicine, so to speak, in the pill. Now, common, I'll call it spiritual fiction, is that we heal ourselves through belief. That's the explanation, right? That we do heal ourselves because the placebo is scientific proof, but it's not belief that does that. It is an inner knowingness that you know that you're getting better, that you're doing exactly what you need to do to get better. And when people take those sugar pills, they think they're taking some kind of medicine. And they believe because they're doing that, they now know I'm doing everything I need to get better. I know I'm going to get better because I'm doing everything that I need to do. That's the state that we have to give ourselves, because that is the proof on terms of how we heal ourselves. It's an inner knowingness which occurs prior to believing, prior to thinking, prior to emoting. It's a specific state of being. It's a specific frequency. And that frequency of knowingness sends the signal to the mind-body complex that self-healing and self-repair can begin. It's the knowingness. It's by giving ourselves permission to heal. We think that we do it through diet. We think that we do it through meditation. We think that we do it through the tincture. We think that we do it through RJ. Those are permission slips. And the placebo effect is scientific proof that we heal ourselves. Now, I've simply taken that understanding, that tangible understanding of inner knowingness, from an enlightened perspective, and used these specific meditations and healing protocols and techniques about commanding your energy. And this is how I literally put my completely and utterly destroyed body back together. And it's the same understanding and same technique, as I said earlier, that thousands of people have used to not only achieve tremendous health, they now have a quality of life that they never had before, because they have empowered themselves in a way that they didn't think was possible. And this all happens through an inner knowingness, and which is a specific frequency. And that's exactly what the placebo effect really is and why it works.
Do you feel that we really have all the information within ourselves to heal ourselves?
Yeah. Once we get away from the idea that healing is outside of us, that it's in this tincture, it's in this pill, it's in this treatment, once we start to, and this is really because of our subconscious pattern egoic mind, we have been programmed to believe that we need something outside of ourselves to get better. The body is designed for self-repair and self-healing. We keep misprogramming it with those beliefs, concepts, and ideologies. So again, look at the placebo effect. It's sugar pills. Why are people getting better? I'm explaining exactly why. It's an inner knowingness which triggers a very specific frequency to body mind. But if we have been convinced, and we have been convinced, that healing exists outside of ourselves, then we're never actually going to touch it, because all these things do are treat symptoms, which is why they don't talk about healing or cure, because there is no healing or cure in treating symptoms. It doesn't address the root cause. The root cause of all disharmony is disharmonious thought patterns. And all thought patterns are in relation to something we have identified ourselves with, a belief, a concept, a role, an ideology. This throws us out of whack, out of alignment. And the body was not designed to take direction from the egoic mind. The body was designed to take direction from the true self, from the direct consciousness. And when we work in that way, and you can think of that as meditation, when we work in that way, the body automatically self-repairs and self-heals.
In your book, you talk about when we raise our personal frequency, it raises our level of awareness. What does that really mean?
Okay, so I'll use a very down-to-earth, tangible example. So let's say we're having a problem with a friend or a family member or a loved one, right? And we're just arguing back and forth, right? And we can't seem to stop this cycle, right? Oh, I just have a bad relationship with my mom, or, my dad and I don't get along, or whatever it is. And we all know what this is like, all of us, right? Okay, probably. So let's say, for example, we then seek out the advice from third party. Maybe it's a therapist. Maybe it's a friend. Maybe it's a clergy member. Maybe it's just someone who who's wise, right? Now, all of a sudden, what they do is they offer a different way of looking at the situation. Now, all of a sudden, you see that situation differently, which gives you access to more possibilities in terms of how to behave and how to act within that situation. Now, you just didn't see that possibility before. You weren't looking at it in that way. So that way, that new way of being wasn't available to you because you couldn't see it, because you were locked into that old paradigm of, I don't know what to do, we just don't get along, and that's just the way it is. And then someone offers a different perspective, and then all of a sudden things change. So by working with meditation, we start to figure out and experience a more holistic, a deeper state of being. And we realize we're not locked in to the pattern, the habituations that we had before that was causing the ill health, whether it's mental, emotional, physical, or all of the above. It is simply by giving ourselves permission to see things from a different perspective. And that will allow us to have different experiences that will move us past where we're stuck.
In your book, you share about dissolving the ego mind, that identity. How does that play a role in being able to dissolve that? How does that play a role in having us being able to heal ourselves?
It's everything. It's the whole thing. So what we call the physical body is just a body of energy. Scientists today, even with their limited 5 sensory perceptions, have stated that what we think is solid is 99.999% empty space. So our physical body is just energy, which means it's in constant motion. It's constantly changing. It's only our idea of ourself that is fixed, that prevents the truth of self-transformation. If things actually were fixed and solid, there would never be change. It would be impossible, right? Everything would remain the same. So when we start to tap into what is and not theoretical assumptions, and the egoic mind is built upon theoretical assumptions that we simply believe to be true, that we've accepted to be true. Well, the real truth of the matter is they're not. They're not. I would certainly be dead, absolutely paralyzed, and probably incredibly sick if these accepted beliefs were actually true. They're not. I simply challenged them by challenging my own ego mind, which had accepted these things as being truth. They simply are not. So when we remove the thinking mind and we start to dwell in our own presence and being present, you can think about that as meditation. Our consciousness, just like water, just starts to flow and expand. And naturally, we have a completely different understanding of what is going on. We feel different. We see things differently. We experience ourselves differently. And if we experience ourselves differently, we're not going to be limited to the paradigm that we've placed ourselves within through our own egoic mind. We have to challenge the thinking. And the book lays, because thinking are in context to beliefs, concepts, and ideologies. Without those things, you actually can't think. So I say that the ego mind identity is a limitation program that runs by thinking. And what is the remedy for thinking? Meditation. Thinking will get you from A to Z. Imagination will get you everywhere. So when we start to work in this way with the higher mind through deeper, more powerful states of meditation, which my book lays out, there's nothing that we can't do. And I mean that literally.
Well, on that note, we're going to pause here for a quick moment. We've been speaking with RJ Spina in regards to his new book, Supercharged Self-Healing. We'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors.
Are you a coffee lover who wants to make a difference? Look no further than Fire Department Coffee, a veteran-owned business that gives back to support first responders in need. Each batch of coffee is freshly roasted right here in the USA by a dedicated team of first responders and coffee experts. So when you enjoy a cup of Fire Department coffee, you're not only drinking high-quality coffee, you're supporting members of your community. Start your day with a coffee that gives back. Visit firedepartmentcoffee.com. That's fire, D-E-P-T, coffee.com.
Are you looking to untangle life's riddles? Discover the profound teachings of Dr. Shai Tabali, renowned philosopher, best-selling author, and your guide to self-empowerment. With methods that harmonize psychological and spiritual principles, Dr. Tabali's wisdom offers a pathway to holistic transformation. Take that first step today and join thousands globally and embrace the journey to higher consciousness. Visit shaitabali.com, that's SHAITUBALI.com now.
Hello, Dr. Cutler here. Do you experience bloating, heartburn, food craving, bowel irregularity, food sensitivities, weight issues? If you do not digest your food, you may be deficient in macronutrients, which your body needs for optimal health. DrEllenCutler.com teaches that this is an enzyme deficiency. I believe the most important supplement is a full-spectrum digestive enzyme, Dr. Ellen's Way Digestive Enzymes. Hear more about it at DrEllenCutler.com.
Are you chasing profitability yet losing fulfillment? Let me introduce you to your solution, the Relaunch Company. I'm Hillary DeCesar, an entrepreneurial performance coach, fearless leader of the Relaunch Company, here to help put the pedal to the metal and relaunch your business your way. Visit www.therelaunch.com. Take the free quiz to learn 3 steps towards waving goodbye to burnout and hello to success.
The book Terminal Cancer is a Misdiagnosis, authored by Danny Carroll, is on sale at Amazon now. Licensed psychologist and psychotherapist Tessa Antia-John-Guerra commented, "This is one of the most empowering books on the topic of cancer you will ever read." Award-winning author T.L. Needham commented, "This recommended book can be understood by anyone seeking answers, hope, and alternatives to a terminal diagnosis. Buy it now on Amazon.com.
Are you feeling disconnected from your life and your body as a woman? Do you feel numb emotionally and/or sexually and just not sure how to feel really alive again, or maybe for the first time? Are you struggling with body and self-acceptance, especially during menopause? If you'd like to reclaim your feminine and learn more about woman and gynecology and how it can help empower your life, contact Gina Cloud at www.ginacloud.com.
I'd like to thank Jason Eastwood at Guitarfulness for sharing his inspiring music and talent with us. His music is known worldwide for cultivating atmospheres of harmony, inner peace, and clarity. Visit Jason's website at guitarfulness.com. Join his newsletter, be part of his community, and download his music. Welcome back to Moments with Marianne. We're here today with our special guest, RJ Spina, who's here to share with us his new book, Supercharged Self-Healing, a revolutionary guide to access high-frequency states of consciousness that rejuvenate and repair. So RJ, before we went for a break, we were talking about being able to use this process in order to self-heal. Is it important for us to have more of a goal in mind? Should we keep it somewhat open? What's the best way to approach this?
I think it's helpful. In the beginning, it's helpful. So eventually, there's going to be a flow state, what people call the flow state or momentum, and you're kind of carried. Right. But in the beginning, it's a good idea to have a goal. My goal, quite frankly, was to walk. I mean, that was the main objective. All the other things were kind of secondary, even though I was very ill. I wanted to walk. So I harnessed my desire and intention to walking again. A desire and intention is a higher frequency and more powerful than thinking, emoting, actions, and behaviors. More of your higher mind and your total body of energy is available through when you harness your desire and your intention. Your intention is your energy. And when you harness your energy, that is your will. That is your willpower. So if we have a goal in mind, mine was walking, and we merge our desire and intention with ourselves, it becomes one thing. Now there's nothing stopping us. Then all our thoughts, emotions, actions, and behaviors will be in accordance and in alignment with our desire and intention to walk, or whatever it is that we desire and intend to manifest for ourselves. So that is how manifestation actually works, whether it's manifestation of health or any kind of goal. We all can do this. It just hasn't been explained properly, frankly, until now. And we just haven't had a tangible example of what it's like to put your body back together authentically. Not some story, authentically, a destroyed body back together. This is how you do it. So it doesn't really matter what the problem is, because it's all energy. It doesn't matter the severity. It doesn't matter what the problem is. I was told everything I was doing was absolutely impossible. Well, with metaphysics and your higher mind, it's not. With your rational, programmed, subconscious, patterned, egoic mind, it is impossible. And meditation and the book will take you way beyond that, and will allow you to work with yourself in a way that human beings are currently not doing. This is the future of humanity, once again.
Do you think that humanity in many ways has been programmed into states of illness?
100%. 100%. That's what the ego mind identity is. As I said earlier, all disharmony comes from disharmonious thought patterns. All thought patterns are in context to some identification, to a belief, a concept, an ideology, or a role. None of those things are actually you. And so by our own programmed mind, whatever conceptualized reality, Marianne, that we create for ourselves, the body has the tangible experience of that. That's the mind-body connection in one sentence. Now, the other side of that coin, if we actually experience an enhanced, greater, expanded state of consciousness, the body has the tangible experience of that as well. And that's what healing is. So we have misprogrammed ourselves through beliefs, concepts, ideologies, roles that we play. We're not any of these things. If we can be aware of it, it can't be us because we're the awareness. We can't be a role, a belief, a concept, or an ideology because we are the awareness of those things. We come before them and we will exist after. It's the realignment to that, to what I call the self, sentience, which is a divine intelligence, which is what we are, given energy to create. And the book takes you through, some of these things may seem so far out of reach for people. I got news for you. It's the exact opposite. It's what all of us are at our core. We are so out of alignment through misprogramming that being centered, being able to be present is difficult. But in the beginning, it just takes practice. And then eventually it's an effortless effort because our natural state is to just be present and not to be thinking. And in that natural state, to be present, our higher mind and all of our energy is available to us. And once we have all of our energy, we are immensely powerful. And once we're not locked in by the prison of the ego mind, there's nothing that we can't do. And Supercharged Self-Healing captures that in word form. And if people want to see it in live form, just watch the video that's on the website. It's tangible proof that anyone can do this. And people are doing this all over the world that have availed themselves of these teachings.
Have you had people come to you go, well, I have a mental illness. I have problems being able to meditate. I can't hold my attention. So I don't know if I can ever get to this place of healing.
Oh, of course. Yeah, of course. But that's all coming from the ego mind. That's all coming from the electromagnetic interference, which is from a physics perspective. The information that's floating on around here, that's not your true signal. The ego mind identity is electromagnetic interference. It's all the things that you're picking up here through the five senses that you've identified with. Meditation is our natural state. We don't even have to do anything to meditate. We have it backwards. And I'll give you an instantaneous meditation magic trick because I make no bones about it. I do magic. And magic is the accessing and utilization of energy that lies outside of physical sensory perception. That's what magic is. And that's exactly what metaphysics is. Magic, real magic, and metaphysics are the exact same thing. So we can do meditation. I've had, I don't know how many people come to me saying exactly what you said, Marianne. I can't meditate, RJ, I've tried. And they have. I can't. I try. Okay. So why don't we do this all right now? Because I'm going to teach everyone how to meditate in 1 second because it's our natural state. All right. All you have to do is pretend that you just arrived here. No past, no future. You can't think. You're instantly present. And that's without an effort. And because it's without an effort, it can be maintained indefinitely. That's just one instantaneous magic trick. The book is filled with them, as well as meditations that offer a profound and transformative state on your consciousness and body of energy. It's exactly how I put my destroyed body back together. But there's one instantaneous meditation magic trick because thinking is past, future, past, future. That's what thinking is. So if you simply pretend that you just arrived here, no past, no future, the thinking mind shuts down.
I love that. It was such a simple practice, but it really does put you in this zone of just, I don't want to say nothingness, but just being.
Exactly. And what we find out, Marianne, what we find out is that this nothingness actually is everything. And that's really the turning point. Once we have normalized our natural state, which is just to be present, which we've just discovered we can do in 1 sec. The book is filled with magic tricks. Like I said, I make no bones about it. I do magic, real magic. Instantaneously move all the energy. That's what magic is. The book is filled with this. And because they're effortless and they're instantaneous, it can be maintained. There's no more practicing meditation. You don't become a meditator. It's the opposite. This is a total paradigm shift of everything, how meditation works, how energy works, the true metaphysics of self-healing and self-realization, which is what enlightenment is. These are the real metaphysics of how you do this. And everyone is starting to discover that it's already within them. It's already there. They're just too busy trying to achieve something or become something. You're already it. And these teachings will put you right back into the center, into the driver's seat of the miracle machine, instead of living on the edge of miracles through our own ego mind identity.
RJ, what do you want people to take away from your book when they read it?
That suffering is optional, and that they now have a blueprint on how to put themselves back together. That it is not something that only RJ can do or whatever. There is a blueprint for this. It is metaphysics. It is repeatable. There is a robust process that I have remembered on how this works. And the inner mechanics, the inner metaphysics are the same for me, the same for you, Marianne, the same for your neighbor, same for your mom, same for your dad, et cetera, et cetera. It is universal. This is not just reserved for certain people or certain kinds of people. That is nonsense. This is our true state. We first have to give ourselves permission to heal and reclaim our sovereignty. And then avail yourself of these teachings. They are here now. Use these teachings to transcend your suffering. Use my incarnation to transcend and to liberate your consciousness. This is the point. This is available to people right now. But they have to start off by giving themselves permission to heal. And they have to realize there is something else out there. How can things be different for me? How can something get better for me? Start with that. Let your mind open. And then get supercharged self-healing. There's nothing you can't do when you start to work in this way.
Well, RJ, where can our listeners connect with you and be part of your community and learn more about your work?
My website is Ascend the Frequencies. That's plural frequencies. So ascendthefrequencies.com. I do weekly YouTube videos. So my YouTube channel is RJ Spina Ascend the Frequencies. I'm always uploading new videos, higher consciousness and light metaphysics on self-realization and self-healing. My Instagram is Ascend the Frequencies 12. And you can join a newsletter on my website and also download a free guide to these magic tricks that I was just talking about. That's just one of them. There are an endless amount of magic tricks that I teach in terms of this, and you can get your free guide right on the website. Just put in the information and it gets downloaded right to you. So ascendthefrequencies.com is the best place to start, and then avail yourself of what's available. There's probably, at this point, Marianne, there's probably 75 to 100 hours of free content on YouTube that I've put together through my videos and through my interviews. So that's a good place to start.
Well, RJ, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show with us here today.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
Well, thank you, RJ. It has been such an honor to spend this time with you and to talk about your new book, Supercharged Self-Healing. Supercharged Self-Healing's available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and everywhere books are sold. And remember, support our indie bookstores. If you don't see it on the shelf, just ask for them to order it. They love doing that for us. You can also purchase this book directly from the publisher, Llewellyn, at llewellyn.com. Well, we're at the end of our time today. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. You've been listening to Moments with Marianne, where we make every moment count.
In a single moment, your life can change. Moments with Marianne is a transformative hour that covers an endless array of topics with the best of the best. Her guests are leaders in their fields, ranging from inspirational authors, top industry leaders, and business and spiritual entrepreneurs. Each guest is gifted and a true visionary. A recognized leader in her own work, and while teaching others to develop, refocus, and grow, Marianne will bring the best guest and sometimes a special surprise. Don't miss this. You never know just which moment will change your life forever. Make sure to tune in and visit momentswithmarianne.com for more information.